Because of the ongoing pandemic, the Sussex County Board of County Commissioner meetings will be conducted remotely via Zoom. The public may participate online or by telephone. For the meeting agenda, visit the Sussex County website at www.sussex.nj.us and click Commissioners under Events. To participate in the meeting, click Online Info. Via phone, dial 1-646-558-8656. Put in meeting ID number 526-121-1125 and the passcode 07860, which is posted in online info. This is the meeting of April 14th, 2021 at 6 p.m. regular business via Zoom. I would like to call the meeting to order and ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Commissioner Carney?
Here.
Director Fantasia?
Here.
Commissioner Fasano?
Here.
Commissioner Patillo will be absent this evening. Commissioner Yardley?
Here.
At this time, we are going to have a moment of silence and salute to the flag. We have two individuals that we're recognizing for a moment of silence. Chris Carney, if you would like to share. Commissioner Carney.
I'm sorry, Don, I couldn't unmute myself. Yeah, I would like to have a moment of silence for a fellow county commissioner, Kenneth Armwood of Piscataway, if we could.
Thank you. Also, Wantage Fire Department ex-chief Chris Vandergroff. He was a life member of the Beamerville Fire Department, and he was a lifelong Wantage resident. He was a husband, father, grandfather, uncle, son, and brother, and we'd like to keep him in our thoughts this evening for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America,
the Republic,
and to the republic
and
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 4 is the public statement pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975. Adequate notice as defined by Section 3D of Chapter 231, PL 1975 has been made by regular mail and email. Such notice being submitted on January 10th, 2021 from the Administrative Center of the County of Sussex located at 1 Spring Street, Newton, New Jersey to the following: New Jersey Herald, Star Ledger, WSUS Radio, and WNNJ Radio. And is also posted on the bulletin board maintained in the Administrative Center for Public Announcements and has been submitted to the Sussex County Clerk in compliance with said act. Number 5 is the approval of the agenda. I need a motion to approve the agenda this evening.
Make the motion, Dawn.
Thank you, Herb. And a second.
I'll second.
Discussion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Director, excuse
Yeah.
me, Director, I'm sorry. Might I suggest at this time the recognition of the 2 resolutions that we need to add to 13. These are the 2 resolutions that were emailed this afternoon regarding the congressional
Correct. Thank
program.
you. Yes, I suppose we should add that at this time. We were all in receipt of 2 resolutions today in support of the board community project funding applications to both New Jersey's 11th Congressional District to Mikey Sherrill's office and New Jersey's 5th Congressional District to Congressman Gottheimer's office. So we can review some of that, but that is actually added to the agenda this evening. So I'm going to ask our attorney if he would please advise, being that we had a motion and a second, now that we are adding these 2 resolutions to the agenda, what order we should be doing this.
In the order in which they were presented, Madam Director.
Thank you. So if I can now ask for a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of these 2 new resolutions to the agenda this evening.
I'll make the motion.
And
And
I'll second that, Commissioner Carney.
Discussion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Passed. Okay, number 6, proclamations, certificates, and presentations. We do a fair amount of proclamations this evening. The first, April 16th, 2021 is Wear Purple Day, and Nick Loizy is going to be accepting. I'm going to have Anthony please read that A for us.
Thank you, Commissioner. And do we have Nick with us this evening?
I believe so.
Yes, Commissioner, I'm here. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for being here, Nick. And I'm going to read the resolution, the proclamation rather, and then I'll turn it to you for any comments, okay?
Thank you.
Whereas alcohol is the most commonly used addictive substance in the United States, and whereas 1 in every 12 adults suffers from alcohol abuse or dependence, and more than half of all adults have family history of alcoholism or problem drinking. And whereas 100,000 persons die each year from alcohol-related causes, drunk driving crashes, other accidents, falls, fires, alcohol-related homicides, and suicides. And whereas teens who start drinking before the age of 14 are 7 times more likely to develop alcohol problems by the time they are 21. And whereas the month of April has been recognized as Alcohol Awareness Month by NCADD, the National Council of Alcoholism and Drug Dependence, the founder and sponsor of Alcohol Awareness Month. And whereas the color of NCADD uses in the purple-violet family a color that is similar to the amethyst, here is the reason behind the amethyst color. The amethyst is the most beautiful and valuable form of the quartz. The word amethyst, and I might be butchering that, stems from a Greek word meaning without drunkenness, for in ancient times, it was believed that anyone carrying or wearing this stone could not become intoxicated. Anyone who displays this color announces that they know someone whose life has been improved through alcoholism treatment. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Sussex County Board of County Commissioners has recognized that April 16th, 2021 is Wear Purple Day in recognition of Alcohol Awareness Month and encourages all of its citizens throughout Sussex County to join in wearing purple. Certified as a true copy of resolution adopted April 14th, 2021 by the order of the Board of County Commissioners, Dawn Fantasia, Commissioner Director, Anthony Pisano, Deputy Commissioner, Sylvia Patillo, Herb Yardley, and Chris Carney as commissioners. And Nick, I really appreciate you joining us here this evening to accept this proclamation. Is there anything you would like to add for this cause?
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, the focus of our division, the Community Youth Services Division, and specifically the Municipal Alliance Committee is prevention of all types of substance use disorders. And alcohol, I don't know if the people are aware that in our county, or in the state of New Jersey, I'm sorry, alcohol represents the second highest reason that people go into substance abuse treatment, behind heroin and other opiates. Of course, we know about the heroin epidemic going on in our area and in the entire country. But alcohol has always played a major role in the need for substance abuse treatment for many of our people. And we just like to recognize that people go into treatment for alcohol and they recover from it, and they maintain long-term recovery from alcohol use disorder. And we want to recognize that, alcohol is a problem, and we want to continue to provide services for people who need treatment for any kind of alcohol use problem they have. And by issuing this proclamation, we are recognizing that not only the people who are in recovery from alcoholism, but also the people who need to get into treatment or may have a problem, and to show support for both sides of that. And I appreciate the commissioners taking the time to issue this proclamation. This is the fourth year that we've done Wear Purple Day, and I'm encouraging everyone who's listening to put on some kind of purple clothing on Friday, which is when Wear Purple Day is. It's going to be done statewide through all the county municipal alliances. And we're going to send some pictures to my email address at the county. You can find it on the website. And we will put together a collage of photos of the people participating in Wear Purple Day, and recognize the people who came out in support for this cause. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick. You know, Deputy Director Fasano, you don't have to be upset about amethyst because I always pronounce Nick's
Amethyst.
last name wrong. It is Louise, and I always call him Louise.
I don't want to correct you when you do it, but
I do it. I know. I do it like it's my job. You've been here
I-
before, and
yeah.
yeah.
That's all right. Just remember, go easy on Louise. That's the easiest way to remember how to pronounce it.
I will not.
Ah,
Thank you, Nick. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank
Uh,
you.
so-
thank you, Nick.
You'll notice on the proclamations a lot are geared towards, health and human services and different kinds of prevention and abuse issues. Letter B is to recognize Child Abuse Prevention Month. And with us this evening is Christy Young from Ginny's House, accepting. And I'm going to just check that she is here with us on the line.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask Deputy Director Fasano to please read that.
Sure, Director, and thank you, Christy, for being here. Whereas child abuse and neglect is a complex and ongoing problem in our society, affecting many children in Sussex County. And whereas every child is entitled to be loved, cared for, nurtured, feel secure, and be free from verbal, sexual, emotional, and physical abuse and neglect. And whereas child abuse and neglect not only directly harm children, but also increase the likelihood of criminal behavior, substance abuse, health problems, and risky behavior. And whereas the effects of child abuse are felt by communities as a whole and need to be addressed by the entire community. And whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeeded because of the partnerships among families, social service agencies, schools, religious and civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Sussex County Board of County Commissioners do proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention Month and calls upon all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in our efforts to support families, thereby preventing child abuse and strengthening the communities in which we live. Certified as a true copy of resolution adopted April 14th, 2021 by the order of the Board of Chosen Commissioners, Dawn Fantasia, Commissioner Director, Anthony Pisano, Deputy Director, Sylvia Patillo, Herb Yardley, and Chris Carney as Commissioners. So Christy, thank you so much for being here. And is there anything you would like to add to this important cause? Christy, are you with us?
Christy, press *6 to unmute yourself.
Director, I think we might have lost Christy here.
I see Christy. I'm going to try to.
I think I'm back.
I was
Oh,
going to say.
I hear you.
Mhm.
Hi. Okay, sorry about that. I'm having all kinds of technical issues today, so I apologize.
No problem.
Thank you very much. On behalf of child victims in Sussex County, we thank you for this acknowledgement and support. Thank you especially to Commissioner Herb Yardley, who's a longtime supporter and board member of Ginny's House. It really does take a village to raise a child, and I'm so grateful that I get to live and work in a community that understands that we cannot give victims the justice they deserve if we are ignoring other injustices around us. Here's to a future filled with hope and healing. Thank you very much.
Amen. Thank you, Christy.
This is Herb. I just wanted to thank Christy and the work that gets done at Ginny's House. It's just incredible, and it takes a lot of heart and courage and kindness and support for the people that work there and do the work, the needed work that is required. And my heart goes out to all of the victims there. And Christy, I just want to say that you guys do a great job, and thank you and everyone there very much.
Thank you, Herb. I really appreciate that. And thanks so much for your continued support.
Thank you. Next, we are on C. It is a proclamation in recognizing Sexual Assault Awareness Month. From Daisy, do we have Jim? And Jim, I'm so sorry if I pronounce your last name incorrectly. Elsasser?
You did a fine job. That's good.
Oh, well, thank you.
Elsasser. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to read the proclamation. Whereas April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and each day of the year is an opportunity to create change for the future. Sexual violence is widespread, touches all of our lives, and has public health implications for every community member of Sussex County. And whereas New Jersey is home to 1.8 million survivors of contact sexual assaults, NISCS 2012, and survivors are people of all ages, genders, sexual orientations, and abilities. And whereas sexual violence impacts our community as seen by statistics indicating that 1 in 5 women and 1 in 67 men experience sexual assault at some point in their lives. And whereas we must all work together to educate our community about what can be done to prevent sexual assault and how to support survivors. And whereas with leadership, dedication, and encouragement, there is compelling evidence that indicate that we can be successful in reducing sexual violence in Sussex County through prevention education, increased awareness, and holding perpetrators who commit acts of violence responsible for their actions. And whereas Sussex County strongly supports the efforts of national, state, and local partners and the commitment of every citizen to actively engage in public and private efforts to prevent sexual violence, to help survivors connect with services, and to empower our society to work together to end sexual violence. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Sussex County Board of County Commissioners hereby proclaims April 2021 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month and joins communities across the country in playing an active role to prevent sexual violence. Certified with a copy of a resolution adopted April 14th, 2021 by order of the Board of County Commissioners, Dawn Fantasia, Commissioner Director, Anthony Fasano, Deputy Director, and Sylvia Patillo, Herb Yardley, and Chris Carney, Commissioners. So, Jim, would you like to share your thoughts with us?
Yeah, thank you for reading that, Dawn. And on behalf of the DAISY staff, on behalf of our board, all our volunteers, and especially on behalf of so many survivors of domestic and sexual violence in Sussex County, I'd like to thank the commissioners for taking the time to present and read this proclamation. And I'll echo what Christy stated in terms of working in such a supportive and responsible community that recognizes the needs of our community for those who have been silenced and marginalized and in so many ways felt forgotten and left in the shadows. To have a voice and to hear that voice proclaimed in the setting is truly inspirational and deeply appreciated. So thank you again.
Thank you so much for all the work that you do here in the county to help survivors. And again, what you said was very powerful about, in the shadows. And, it's so unbelievably widespread when you read those statistics of 1 in 5 females and 1 in 67 males are victims. The numbers are daunting. And thank you again. Thank you for offering that level of support and care for our residents.
Thank you, Dawn.
Next is letter D. April is National County Government Month. I'm going to ask Commissioner Carney to please read that proclamation.
Thank you, Director Fantasia. Whereas the nation's 3,069 counties, parishes, and boroughs serving more than 300 million Americans provide essential services to create healthy, safe, and vibrant communities. And whereas counties provide public health services, administer justice, keep communities safe, foster economic opportunities, and much more. And whereas Sussex County and all other counties take pride in our responsibility to protect and enhance the health, well-being, and safety of our residents in efficient and cost-effective ways. And whereas under the leadership of National Association of Counties President Gary Moore NACO is demonstrating how countless counties matter, especially in supporting residents and businesses during the coronavirus pandemic. And whereas each year since 1991, the National Association of Counties has encouraged counties across the country to elevate awareness of county responsibilities, programs, and services. And whereas dedicated county staff facing the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic head-on established a drive-through vaccination clinic and in just 11 weeks administered more than 11,000 doses, promoting and protecting the health of Sussex County residents. And whereas the staffing and operating a vaccinated site is just one example of the many efforts put forward by county staff during the pandemic, including the maintenance of the county's transportation infrastructure, delivery of services to seniors and vulnerable persons, and providing for the myriad of support functions needed to meet residents' needs. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Sussex County Board of County Commissioners do hereby proclaim April 2021 as National County Government Month and encourage all county officials, employees, schools, and residents to participate in county government celebrating activities. This is certified a true copy of resolution adopted April 14, 2020 by order of the Board of County Commissioners, Director Dawn Fantasia, Deputy Director Anthony Pisano, Commissioners Herb Yardley, Sylvia Patillo, and Chris Carney. Thank you.
Thank you. And in an unprecedented year for counties all across the United States of America, it wasn't an easy job to do for any county government, but it's standing together and standing in solidarity and working together to make sure that our counties received what they needed under these circumstances was very important. So thank you to all of you that sit here with me, and thank you to all of our 21 counties for the individuals that serve there. Okay, so letter E is Volunteer Appreciation Month. We're going to start out. I just want to double check that Julia Gorell from the Division of Health and Medical Reserve Corps Coordinator is here on the line.
Yes, hi, I'm here.
Hi, thank you. I'm going to first ask Herb Yardley to read the proclamation, and then I would like to, to hear some of your comments, Julia. And if you could share with us about that daunting task. I mean, our volunteers really are really the driving force behind that, the Medical Reserve Corps, specifically with the vaccination sites. So, Herb, would you kindly read that?
Be my pleasure. Whereas volunteers are citizens who perform unpaid work for those in need and for our community. And whereas volunteers are one of Sussex County's greatest assets in that they are dedicated to helping others and unselfishly give their personal time to make a difference. And whereas volunteering is one's time, talent, and resources has been an integral part of our American heritage since the early days of our nation. And it is essential that we continue this tradition of giving and sharing to preserve and improve the quality of life for all citizens in our county. And whereas this special week is designated throughout our nation for the purpose of recognizing and honoring those individuals who give of themselves and to promote and encourage a sense of giving and service by all citizens. And whereas volunteers affect real change in our neighborhoods and our communities by investing their time, energy, and valuable skills in developing innovative approaches to address many of the concerns and needs of our country. And Sussex County appreciates its volunteers and recognizes citizens to become involved and encourages citizens to become involved in their communities, neighborhoods, and local government. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Sussex County Board of County Commissioners does proclaim April 20th, 21 as Volunteer Appreciation Month. By the order of the Board of County Commissioners, Dawn Fantasia, Commissioner Director, Anthony Pisano, Deputy Commissioner, Sylvia Patillo, Herbert Yardley, and Chris Carney, Commissioners. So it was a pleasure to do that resolution and thank all of our volunteers that work in the county for all of the things they do. So would Julia, would you like to say a few things?
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Yes, it's been an incredible experience at the county vaccination site. When we began planning for the vaccination site, I was asked what kind of, emergency response we would receive from our volunteers in the county. And especially with the risk involved, as none of them had received any vaccinations yet, I responded that I thought we would, see them definitely come out and help, but I wasn't sure to what level. 3 months later, actually today is 3 months from the start of the site. We have had volunteer help from almost 200 volunteers from the county and actually outside the county as well that have come up and fell in love with our county, and then decided to start volunteering there. We have seen probably about 9,000 work hours donated by our volunteers. We see 20 to 25 people a day volunteer their time, 6 hours a day at the site. They have volunteered in a lot of challenging weather this winter. The volunteering, as much as they're volunteering at the site to help with the vaccination process for them, has also included helping us dig out snowbanks, push broken down cars out of the way in the vaccination site, and do a lot of things that I think probably people don't think about when it comes to, a vaccination site. It's been an amazing experience. We see new volunteers registering every day. And as of today, we have vaccinated 13,340 people in the county.
Wow. Julia, do you have a diverse group of people, different groups other than the MRC there?
Yes, actually we do. We have the Medical Reserve Corps there. We also have the local community emergency response teams and the disaster response crisis counselors. We get volunteers also from the nursing program at the county college. And we also get, I want to mention, in a different way, volunteering, we get a lot of people that come in from the community, especially when it was very cold in the winter, who came and donated food, coffee, cookies. I can't even think of all of it, but a lot of items, just because they knew that so many people there were volunteering, and they volunteered in their own way to help out the site.
Such an unbelievable and admirable effort, how many people pulled together. I remember when, we first were having conversations about what we would need from a volunteer standpoint, and trying to put out the call and try to recruit individuals. And never in my wildest dreams did I think that we would have the numbers actually come and just, to sustain those numbers. It's just been absolutely, I don't know, it's mind blowing to me how many people, stepped up to the cause. It's just wonderful. I can't thank you enough.
It's been my pleasure. It's been probably the most amazing thing I've seen in my career.
I want to thank you so much again for being here with us tonight. And, it's a long haul. I know tonight, even on our agenda, we do have listed, making sure that we have enough rental equipment to keep that facility open, for the better duration of this year, of this calendar year. So I know it's not something, that's going to end quickly. So, your dedication, the longevity, everything is just so much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Now, on the same vein, for volunteering, there has been something that that's relatively new and has really taken off and has gotten legs, that I want to share about. Just an unbelievable volunteer effort. If you've been following in the media at all, now the story has gone national, and today I actually pulled information from news in Alabama, in the state of Alabama, from Tuscaloosa. And what it was donations of fire equipment. And it all started with a pretty unexpected friendship between Wantage fireman Hunter Space and an individual down working for the Vance Fire Department. And Hunter had brought down a load of used turnout gear, fire gear, that's the firefighters' protective clothing, to help the department, and struck up a friendship with this gentleman. And it then turned into Hunter having a call for action up here in the county when Alabama was hit by tornadoes and some pretty severe weather. And what it had somehow morphed into was our community rallying to the point where they were able to fill an 18-wheeler with turnout equipment. And they were able to give departments in Tuscaloosa County, Pickens County, Fayette County, Clay County, Blount County, and Etowah County will be receiving some of this gear. And they mentioned that originally, the two firemen down in Alabama had reached out and said, maybe we can somehow fund getting a couple plane tickets and coming up, maybe driving a U-Haul down. And Hunter was quoted as saying, a U-Haul, you're going to need a semi. And that's exactly what happened. And there's more to come. So, just this afternoon, as I was reading this, I reached out myself to Hunter. I was able to get a hold of him, and I asked him, because this is a volunteer month, I asked him if he would hop on the call and just share with us just for a couple minutes about what this experience has been like and where it's going. What started out as just a quick unlikely friendship has turned into really the North really rallying hard, for the South. So Hunter, if you're there, you hit *6 to unmute. I think we could hear you.
All right, you hear me now?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. So anyway, as I said, I was talking to you before on the phone. This is epic what is currently going on. And first of all, I got to say thank you to my stepfather-in-law, Jim Huddick, over in Washington and Warren County, and Mark DeBow from Washington Borough in Warren County. And we would have never expected this to go where it's currently at. We originally worked together. Once I got my call from my buddy Robert in Coker and said, hey, we need some help. So we kind of had a game plan what we were going to do, but we did not think it was going to spiral to the point we have like 10 to 15 different states involved. We have major corporations. We're getting donations. We are really changing the world for these firemen in Alabama. And the neatest thing about it is that tractor trailer that went down there. So far with that load, we have helped 30 fire companies, and they're estimating another 30 are going to come get some of the equipment off that truck. And one of the fire companies in particular, County Line, was totally devastated by the tornadoes last month. And with the equipment we collected from all over Sussex, Warren, Hunterdon, Morris, Somerset, Passaic, out in Pennsylvania, into New York, we were able to totally refurnish an entire firehouse that was destroyed by a tornado, from gear to hose to tools to fans. So this is I've never experienced anything like this, but the way this county, the firemen, to the volunteers that are not firemen, who just want to lend a hand and help another American out, it's just, unbelievable. We are getting stuff from everywhere, and we are doing a great thing, and we are helping out so many people that need the help, and they need it now. And we're rolling with it, because in the firefighter brotherhood and sisterhood, when somebody's down, it doesn't matter who they are, what color they are, where they're from, who they vote for, this, that, the next thing. You pick your brother or sister up off the ground, and you're on the ground with them until they're able to stand back up. And that is currently what we are all doing right now for these people in Alabama, firefighters.
It's amazing because, when you and I were talking earlier today about it, you had told me the story about one of the departments had 17 firefighters, and they had 3 sets of gear, and they actually had individuals going into fires to fight fires wearing sneakers and jeans. Yep. and things. So they were putting their own safety on the line to save others. So the fact that, you were able to be the start of this whole process is just amazing. And when we're talking about volunteer appreciation, we're very lucky in this county. Our fire services are strictly volunteer. across the
Yeah.
county, and a fair amount of our EMS is volunteer as well. And to know now that that is even branching out to be able to help, other states, it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And I mean, the outport and the support from, I mean, every fire department in this county has or is going to, I mean, from all the way down to all the way up to Montague, down to, I've been talking to Stanhope. Everybody is fully involved one way or either. If they can't donate equipment, they might throw maybe $50 here and there to kind of help buy the guys' gloves down there. But I mean, we would have never expected what we're doing. And we're actually gonna have another tractor trailer is going down to Alabama in the end of this month, early May, that we're pretty sure Walmart Corporation is probably going to cover the trucking. And we are going to be helping another 60 plus fire companies. And also we have an engine out of Allentown, PA, Nancy Run, that is getting donated. We got another fire truck getting donated out of Pennsylvania in Delaware Township. And I have possibly one in Ohio getting donated. So this little snowball that we kind of threw is now turned into a major nationwide operation to keep not just the firemen safe, the people they protect in their communities, and also it could be any of us traveling down throughout Alabama on I-20, get into a car crash, and those guys can come rescue you. And the reason you could be alive is because we gave them equipment and the proper gear in order to do their job.
I want to thank you. It's again, sometimes, it's the butterfly effect, and just one small seed that's planted or just one ripple just has such an unbelievable impact. And thank you. That's all. I just thought,
Yeah.
as I was reading about the story and as it was evolving, I saw today that it was really, it grew to something that I myself never even anticipated. So thank you. Thank you again to you. And thank you to the Wantage, Fire Department, and then just to everybody across the county and just across the state, and then even in our area and the nation and neighboring states for what we're doing to rally around, people who are suffering. So thank you. Okay, so that is the end of our proclamations this evening. Number 7 is public hearings. We have none. Number 8 is public session from the floor. This is the first public session, and any comments are limited to agenda items only. So before we open the session, any callers who want to make a comment are going to state their name and municipality. The clerk creates a roster and calls each in the order received. Comments are limited to 3 minutes or less. Now, there is at the end of the meeting an open public session for any item that is not on the agenda that you would like to direct towards the Commissioner Board. But for this public session, it is strictly to items that are on tonight's agenda. So if you are calling in via phone, you hit *6 to unmute. And if you are on Zoom, you go to where your name is in the participant list or at the very bottom of your screen, and you just click the microphone to unmute yourself. So at this point, I would ask that you would, oh, no, not yet. I do need a motion to open the floor for public comment before we do that. May I have a motion from the board?
I'll make the motion.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, at this point, I would ask anyone who would like to speak on an agenda item to please unmute yourself and state your name and municipality for the clerk. And I'm also looking down the participant list in the Zoom. If somebody's having a difficult time unmuting themselves, please use the feature in the Zoom where you raise your hand. Or the call administrator who's monitoring the call as well can see your hand to know that you're having difficulty unmuting. Okay, I don't see any raised hands, and I don't hear anybody coming forward to speak on an agenda item. So at this time, I make a motion to close the floor for public comment.
I'll make the motion.
And a second.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, public comment first session is closed. Number 9 is commissioners' comments. We're going to start with Commissioner Carney, please.
All right, thank you, Director Fantasia. I just want to circle back and just, we had a moment of silence earlier for Kenneth Armwood. I just want to speak about him a little bit. It's funny, I was getting a sandwich at work and I read The Observer in South Plainfield, and this is how this came about. But so Kenneth Armwood, Middlesex County Commissioner of Piscataway, he died last month on March 31st. He was 46 years old. Just a little bit about him. Very dedicated man from what I've read. His dedication to public service began at age 19 when he was elected to the Piscataway School Board. While on the Board of Education, he served as a member of the Middlesex County Task Force on School Violence, which created an emergency response manual for schools throughout the county. It has since been used as the model for a state program. Deputy Director Armwood's experience in government also included his election to the Piscataway Township Council from 2004 to 2013, where he served as council president in 2008 and 2013. He joined the Board of County Commissioners in March of 2013. He was named County Commissioner, Deputy Director in 2020. He just to end, he was the first African-American Deputy Commissioner in Middlesex County. So a big feat. Whether you're Democrat, Republican, whatever party line you sit behind, people don't realize how much time and effort that we as commissioners put in to our counties, to our residents and our constituents, and so on and so forth. So for that, we're very grateful. My condolences to his family and friends. Moving on, engineering report. Sussex County, we'll start. I'm actually going to start with SCUMA. We'll start here. Sussex County Municipal Utilities Authority Stage 2 expansion project is a 2 to 3 year project, which includes the construction of 2 new waste disposal cells, Phase 4 and Phase 6B. Phase 6B is a 7.2 acre cell, and Phase 4 is a 6.6 acre cell. In general, the landfill related scope of work includes construction of mechanically stabilized earth, berm, earthwork, and soil processing, new landfills, liner systems, new leachate pump house, electrical building, force main, gas piping, roadway, stormwater, waste facilities, convenience center, recycling center, compost area, so on and so forth. The engineer's cost for the project is $26,666,826.87. Tomco Construction of Mount Arlington was a low bidder with a total price of $25,477,636.59, which is 4% below the engineer's cost estimate. The notice to proceed was issued to Tomco Construction on April 5th, 2021. It's anticipated that construction on Phase 6B will commence April 2021 and is projected to be certified for waste placement by February 6, 2022. The construction of Phase 4 will commence after the existing infrastructure is relocated, and that would be the recycling center, resident convenience center, etc., and is anticipated it will be certified for waste placement by March 6, 2024. Stage 2 landfill expansion is estimated to provide at least 16 years of landfill capacity. Subsequently, the SCUMA has plans for Stage 3 landfill expansion project already approved by the NJDEP, and including within the county solid waste management plan and SCUMA's solid waste facilities permit, which should provide solid waste capacity for the county's residents and businesses through 2066. I think it's very important. I know some people probably don't want to hear that, but most people bring their garbage there, whether you do it yourself or you have Waste Management or Blue Diamond or Airs, whoever is working. So it's important that we have these facilities. Now moving on to our resurfacing program. We have some completions done in the fall of 2020. That would be County Route 626, Halsey, Myrtle Grove Road, County Route 565, Glenwood, Martin Station Road, County Route 521 from County Route 633 to 622. And our resurface program, milling and paving of 15.4 miles of county routes starting April 20th on or about. Construction resumes after a winter shutdown. Final road, County Route 519, also known as Branchville-Lewisburg Road, County Route 629 to 628 within the townships of Frankfurt and Wantage. Estimated construction cost for that project is $3,977,258. We also have a bridge, County Bridge C09, North Shore Road in Byram. It's a rehabilitation of a bridge. Construction resumed April 7th, 2021 after the winter shutdown. Final paving and site restoration will continue. Estimated construction cost is $865,000. Moving on, I just want to touch base with the fairgrounds. We had the proclamation. We had a visit. I was able to go there with Herb Yardley and Sylvia Patillo and meet Mikey Sherrill there. Just kudos to the volunteers. Without the volunteers, we wouldn't have what we have. And Administrator Poff too. I mean, he's there all the time, making sure that place runs smoothly. And let me tell you, it runs very, very smoothly. It was very impressive. So thanks to all those people, and thank you to Mike Richards and the Fair Board of Directors for lending the county the facilities, because without the facility, we wouldn't have the operation that we do. Just to touch real quick, we did meet with Congressman Gottheimer, as we briefed on a couple of weeks ago at our special meeting. Since then, I was able to reach out to Mike Strada, kind of get a little more information about any domestic threats. So everything I took from meeting with Congressman and Sheriff Strada, I do feel that we are safe in Sussex County. I do believe that these meetings with the NJ OHSP should be throughout the state, just because it's a statewide problem, not just a countywide, right? So your threats are conclusive to the whole state. It's not just each county. So I think everybody should be a part of that. And I know Commissioner Anthony Fasano will touch base on this a little bit more as he does his comments. And that concludes my report, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we're going to move to Commissioner Yardley.
Thank you, Dawn. I have a brief report. The board of the Association, of counties, all 21 counties, have an emergency meeting tomorrow to decide whether to file an action with the board for unfunded state mandates in violation of the New Jersey Constitution. And what we're talking about is the change in early voting, and it's estimated that it will cost about $77 million to implement, and in the governor's budget, there's only $20 million allocated in the fiscal budget for 2022. So it is a meeting, unless of which I do represent Sussex County, and unless I hear that the board does not want to pursue this in getting funding for and what is considered an unfunded mandate, we, along with the other 21 counties, would join in, or the Association of Counties would file the action on our behalf, as well as the other 20 counties. And what does this involve? It's early voting, and it involves personnel, making sure people can get to where they have to vote, the voting boxes that we have, the security of those, all of that, and other things that go into this process for the early voting. Just for information, the governor, I believe, said there was a $4 billion or $6 billion surplus in the budget. So I'm sure that I feel that the board will probably go along with this. Otherwise, this will be something that you'll have to put in the budget for 2022. So unless I hear that there are objections from the board, I will go along with the vote to go for the unfunded mandate to see that the state does provide the funding for this. That's my report, Dawn. Thank you.
Thank you, Herb. I can say that this is not the first time involving elections that the New Jersey Association of Counties stood 21 counties strong and did pursue legal action in Trenton against the Murphy administration in order to be adequately compensated. And actually, we did prevail, and all 21 counties did receive funding the last time. So I'm kind of surprised this isn't any of our first time at the rodeo, that it even has to get to this point where all 21 counties, bipartisan standpoint, need to stand together to demand the funding for such a mammoth operation moving forward. So again, I would definitely advise that you attend the meeting with all the other representatives from across the state and see what the Association of Counties has planned in order to guarantee compensation for the expanded voting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Herb. Deputy Director Fasano.
Thank you, Director Fantasia, and thank you to all who are joining us this evening. And first and foremost, I just wanted to go back for a moment and thank Hunter Space for joining us this evening, for sharing that story, a pretty remarkable story that I think perfectly captures what Sussex County is about. That is amazing. And Hunter, if you're still on, I did just want to thank you and your colleagues for really tremendous work. And Julia, if you're still on, I'd like to start my report by sharing some very significant intel that I received late yesterday from a very reliable source via text regarding the vaccination center. It reads, quote, "Your father and I did it. We got the vaccine. We were able to get an appointment today at the fairgrounds. The staff was so nice and the operation was very smooth and easy. It was a piece of cake. Speaking of, are you coming over for dinner this weekend?" End quote. That reliable source is my mother, of course, and her experience at the fairgrounds is consistent with nearly all of the feedback we have received over the last 14 weeks or so regarding the vaccination center. Sussex County has made a commitment to administer every shot we receive, and we are doing that. It has been reported by the state that about 86,900 doses of vaccine have been administered to Sussex County residents, with about 35,200 of our population now fully vaccinated. I'm proud of that and very proud and thankful for all of our staff and volunteers at the fairgrounds who do amazing work every day for our residents. And as I'm sure you're probably aware, the Sussex County Fairgrounds utilizes the Moderna vaccine. However, the county has been utilizing small quantity doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine for homebound residents. And in the wake of yesterday's announcement of state and federal governments pausing the administration of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, Sussex County has done the same by canceling all scheduled J&J vaccines for now, as we await further guidance. It will have no impact on the operations at the fairgrounds. Of course, Sussex County continues to offer free in-person and at-home testing options and continues to report every day on the status of this virus in Sussex County. All of that information can be found right on our COVID-19 webpage, which is simply sussex.nj.us/COVID-19. As Commissioner Carney mentioned, I had the opportunity to join him and Sheriff Strada for a briefing with Congressman Gottheimer in the New Jersey Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness about 2 weeks ago. It was an informative briefing, and I thank the Congressman for having us. The staff from the Office of Homeland Security briefed us on the many extremist groups and organizations that exist or could potentially exist within the state of New Jersey from all sides of the political and ideological spectrum. We were also briefed of international threats to our country, such as state actors attempting to increase domestic tension and hurt national credibility. It was a private briefing, however, I do want to share some of my takeaways from it. First, within the bounds of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, the Sussex County Commissioner Board has and will continue to ensure that law enforcement and Homeland Security have the tools they need to keep us safe. The safety and well-being of our residents has been and will continue to be our top priority, and I have the utmost confidence in our law enforcement and counterterrorism professionals who do honorable work in keeping Sussex County one of the safest places to live in this state and in this country. Recently, I feel there has been an effort to portray Sussex County as a place of hate, filled with radical extremism and hateful people, broadly and falsely labeling this county and the vast majority of good people who live here with terms such as white nationalists or neo-Nazis. It's an offensive effort to look at Sussex County as an unfavorable and negative place to live, where we should mistrust our neighbors and assume the worst of our communities. The problem with that agenda is that it isn't true. The facts don't support it, and I think most people who call Sussex County home already know that. There are radical and hateful individuals who reside in this county, but they are so small and barely represent a blip on the map. Certainly, they do not speak or act on behalf of this county and the vast majority of respectful people who call it home. There were about 20 instances of hateful propaganda in Sussex County last year, compared to over 500 of these instances over the same time period in the rest of the state. The same story exists when it comes to bias incidents, hate crimes, violence, etc. But these issues are not exclusive to our county border. These issues do not just exist within Sussex County. In fact, virtually every metric indicates quite the contrary, where these issues are much more prevalent outside of our county border than inside. This board has taken action this year, making clear that we reject and strongly condemn hate in all of its forms, reaffirming our support for protecting and advancing the constitutional rights and equitable treatment of all of our residents, incorporating respect into Sussex County's mission, and stating loudly, proudly, and respectfully that all are welcome in Sussex County. I'm very confident that the vast majority of this county not only agrees with that, but shows it, and the facts and figures support that. So allow me to be, for a moment, as clear as I can be. Sussex County is a safe and respectful place to call home, and we intend to work together to keep it that way as well, as I know our county government, our law enforcement, and the vast majority of our residents feel the same. Despite the efforts of some, we will not allow Sussex County to be canceled and stereotyped with false premises. Respect will always defeat hate, always. Switching gears a little, it was reported in the Herald last week, as Commissioner Carney mentioned, that Sussex County has just one more road to go in our 2020 road repaving program. That's a section of County Route 519 going north from Branchville. And I'm happy to report in 2021, our proposed budget calls for doubling this program, with more than 34 miles of county roads set to be repaved over the next year. Good roadways are a prerequisite for a county to be successful, and I'm thrilled to see this type of investment in our roadway system, which stands to benefit the entire county and those who come to visit as well. Also, the Lake Hopatcong Commission recently submitted a grant application to the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation for the implementation of stream bank stabilization projects in the Upper Musconetcong watershed. This is a true collaboration with many municipalities that Sussex County is happy to support as well. And I do want to make sure to thank Bill Coppinall, our county engineer, and his entire team for their work on both of these items. And I'm really excited to see where it goes, and I'm sure we will keep you updated as well. There's also a resolution on our agenda tonight in support of Senate Bill 3522, which creates a new board of trustees for the local portion of the Public Employees Retirement System. This bill was introduced by Senate President Sweeney and sponsored by our own Senator Orho. The county believes that this will preserve the structure and integrity of the more solvent part of the system. County, municipal, and other local governments have met their pension obligations as employers for more than a decade. Meanwhile, the state has continued to underfund its pension system in varying degrees since 1996, and thus created one of the worst publicly funded retirement systems in the entire nation. Despite fulfilling our fiduciary duties and meeting pension obligations, many local governments, including ours, will experience double-digit percentage increases in total contributions in 2021, which has a direct impact on our budget. That is not sustainable, and this legislation would protect local governing bodies from the state of New Jersey further directing property taxpayer dollars to subsidize its long mismanaged and underfunded pension system and provide this new board of trustees with the ability to serve as the fiduciary of the system. And I know Herb was talking about the New Jersey Association of Counties. That's where this came from as well. Certainly, the New Jersey Association of Counties is concerned about where we are from a pension system. And finally, I just want to take a moment to recognize Ms. Margaret Bongiorno, who is being considered tonight as an appointment to the Sussex County Technical School Board of Education. I first met Ms. Bongiorno when we served together on the Hopakon Board of Education many, many years ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed working with her on the school board level, as she was one of the sharpest and most effective school board members I've ever met. She is an excellent educational leader who, besides her previous work on the local Board of Education level, she also volunteers at Morristown Medical Center and is a trustee for the Say Hi organization, a nonprofit that aids children in crisis. Her daughter is a teacher, and I know she feels passionate about the importance and the need for technical education. She has also been extremely successful at balancing the business aspects of public education with the need for strong quality education for our students. And I have no doubt that she is the right person for this role. And I have no doubt that she will be an advocate and an asset for technical education in Sussex County and for the Sussex County Technical School as well. So that's all I have tonight, Director Fantasia, and that concludes my report this evening.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to start this evening piggybacking a bit on what Commissioner Fasano discussed. Although the statistics and numbers were different, we were able to, in your briefing with the state and with the Congressman's office, we also had the opportunity to look at the Sussex County Bias Incident Breakdown for 2020 provided by the New Jersey State Police. So in looking at the spreadsheets and the reports, what I noted was that the difference between 2019, 2020 statewide, in the prior year, there were 994 incidents, bias incident, that were reported. And in this year, there were 1,441 in total across the state of New Jersey. Sussex County was 14 in 2019, 14 of the 994. And this year, although some of the media was reporting 30, actually the report reflects 32 incidents of bias. So in digging into the data a little deeper, out of the 24 municipalities, 1/3 or 8 municipalities had what was considered a bias incident. However, in the report, it does not provide exact dates of the incidents, exact details per incident, including when multiple bias incidents were reported. It does not tell us if the alleged suspects in the incident was or were from the municipality where it took place. It doesn't reveal whether any individual was arrested, whether it was actually prosecuted as a crime, any details about court proceedings. So something like that can be opened from each of the individual departments. So in trying to get more specific information, they give a little key that you're able to break down the nature of some of the different incidents. They break it down from how severe all the way down to from the most severe of murder, and then it goes down from there. And again, here in the county, there were just let me see, three categories: vandalism, harassment, and then other. We don't know what other is, what that falls under. So again, in trying to determine, specifics. So in looking across the state, how it grew from 994 to 1441, both the media and the police report states that they may partially attribute the increase to efforts of standardization of reporting such incidents. So there's definitely more of a requirement to track such incidents this year versus last year. Also, when we look across the state, there was an increase in violent crimes into 23% this year. I know the mayor of Patterson, Mayor Andre Snai, had said that they had seized 200 illegal firearms from the streets there this year, an increase of 200. And the mayor of Trenton, Reed Gascora, had said he had felt early release due to COVID from the state correctional facilities, kind of left cities scrambling to make sure that they met the need to help reintegrate those individuals back into the population for some of the increases. So again, this has been quite a challenging year and looking at multiple factors, but the actual report itself is pretty interesting to see that across the board, across the state. I'm not sure who's coughing, but mute yourself. We'd appreciate that. Or if the call administrator can please take a look to see who's lighting up and in the stream there, and if you're able to mute that person. Anyhow, what I was saying was to see the increase, statewide. So now we had 32 out of 1,441. Seems to be in line from a from a ratio perspective across the state. So if you're interested, all of that information is available on the state police website. I'd like to discuss our health department now. So this week actually marks something brand new. You know that we have been for quite a while advocating for additional doses as more doses were coming, and Sussex County was not seeing an increase in that. And I'm happy to say that this week we've received 1,000 first doses of the Moderna vaccine, which is actually an increase of 500 first doses this week. So, for the weeks that we've been scrambling to administer more first doses, we did receive 500 more first doses for the first time. Again, as Anthony had mentioned, a little bit of an issue there nationally, globally, with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, with reports, limited reports of 7 females between the ages, I believe, 18 to 48 that had experienced blood clots that are attributed to that vaccine administration. So obviously the county, along with the state and the country, has paused the administration until further guidance is given of that. So registering for a vaccine as of April 5th, vaccine eligibility was expanded to additional essential workers, age 55 and up, and any individual age 16 and up with intellectual or developmental disabilities. But as of Monday, April 19th, all individuals age 16 and older will be eligible for a vaccination. And residents are encouraged to cross-register on a variety of sites to access the earliest possible vaccination. Now, keep in mind that I believe only one of the vaccines is approved at this point for 16 and 17-year-olds. I know Johnson & Johnson was 18 and up. I believe Moderna is 18 and up. Pfizer was the sole vaccine that was approved for individuals 16 and up. The county continues to restrict vaccination site appointments at the fairgrounds to those who live, work, or go to school in Sussex County. And, we're urging residents to use vaccinefinder.org on the county website. So when you visit sussex.nj.us, it helps you search for the first available appointment in the area. And if you have any questions regarding COVID-19 or vaccines, you can call the COVID hotline on 973-579-9488 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. So as of the past week, Sussex County is at a high level. The entire state has returned back to orange. If you watch the weekly report, some areas in different counties were going to yellow, which was moderate, and now the entire state is back in orange. The Department of Health continues to strongly discourage non-essential interstate travel at this time. Now, the Department of Health changed the travel quarantine recommendations. So if you are fully vaccinated, so that's individuals who are 2 weeks plus after either vaccine number 2, or if you did receive the Johnson & Johnson vaccine 2 weeks after the 1 dose of that, you're considered fully vaccinated, and you do not need to quarantine, and you're free to travel within the country without any of those measures or testing upon your return. Also, individuals who have recovered from COVID-19 within 90 days from the illness onset date, you also do not have to quarantine for interstate travel, nor provide a test upon your return. Now, our epidemiologist Lama Shaddad had reported a decrease in total number of cases, which is a good trend here, as well as a decrease in the number of school-age children cases as well. The cases that we're seeing now are mostly related to household clusters, so they're spreading within the same household or in the same workplace. As of April 13th, there's 5 confirmed outbreaks in Sussex County schools. Now, keep in mind, school-age children cannot be vaccinated against COVID. There are 5 confirmed outbreaks also in our 19 long-term care facilities, and there's low numbers of cases. They're mostly among staff, and they're attributing part of that due to a high percentage of vaccinated residents and staff. We continue to monitor reports regarding the variant strains. Sussex County's first infection resulting from the variant strain B117, the UK strain, was reported during the week of March 8th. The Division of Health continues to investigate. We have our contact tracers. And just to give you a little bit of the COVID stats that I do, we have had total residents that have tested positive in the county have been 13,262. So that's a 9% positivity rate here in Sussex County. Total residents recovered of that is 11,926. That's 90% recovery rate. And remember, recovered means that the person did not pass due to the virus, nor are they currently hospitalized, and they are improving. Total positive cases under investigation right now with contact tracing or with active infections, 1,046. There have been a total of 290 deaths in Sussex County since the start of the pandemic. That's a 2% fatality rate, much improved from the 14% fatality rate we were at just about a year ago when it was ravaging our nursing homes. Long-term care facility residents and staff combined, we have 765 positive cases. So 5.8% of our cases have been in long-term care facilities here. But as far as deaths, 134, which is 46% of our deaths did originate in our long-term care facilities. I also would like to touch on hospitalizations a bit here. In March, we had a total of 44 COVID-related hospitalizations that were reported from Newton Medical Center. Now, in order to give you the total numbers, there's a little bit of a lag to catch up for surrounding hospitals besides Newton Medical Center, but I do have Newton Medical Center numbers for for March and April. We have 44, and then in the month of April, we have 28, and that's what's reported from Newton Medical Center. So I also want to touch on something, an event that was held yesterday. It was held by the families who had lost a family member, a loved one in Andover subacute 1 or 2 over the course of the pandemic. A lady by the name of Desiree Steiger and some of the people close to her put together an event that was held in Andover. It was incredibly touching. It was for strictly, for families to really share, the stories of what they experienced, the loss, that they experienced. It was a candlelight vigil. Different attendees, they brought photos of their loved ones who had passed. They also collected funds for a weeping cherry tree that is going to be planted in Andover. In honor of the individuals who had, lost their lives due to COVID. Ms. Steiger herself, her mother passed on Easter Sunday in 2020, and she did share her story with us. So again, we were happy the board, did attend, and we were happy just to stand there and just to honor the people who the county lost, and just stand in solidarity with those individuals. And I think it was a very touching ceremony, and we had other members of the community. I mean, there was probably about 50, 60 people there, and it was just a nice remembrance in memory of those we lost. I do want to share with you that we do have a COVID-19 mobile testing event. It's going to be offered at the Sussex County YMCA parking lot on Tuesday, April 20th from 12 to 5 p.m. And this is sponsored by Atlantic Health Systems. So appointments are required. You can make it online at atlantichealth.org /mobile lab. And if you enter code SCY21, that will take you to the right event. And all this is posted on our website as well. I know I'm just speaking it now, but you'll be able to access this on our website. It's open to the community and staff. It's covered by insurance and Federal CARES Act funding, but they aren't taking walk-ins. Masks and social distancing are required. Now, we did get news today also that the New Jersey Economic Development Authority announced phase 4 of the authority's Small Business Emergency Assistance Grant Program. It adds $85 million in funds from the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security, or CARES Act. Business owners need to pre-register. All this information is going up on our website, and pre-registration will begin this upcoming Monday, so April 19th at 9 a.m. And it's open for 10 days, pre-registration. It closes on April 29th at 5 p.m. And the application is a phased approach, and phase 4 funding, because if you've been following and if you're a business that has applied, it's allocated to support the most adversely affected businesses. So restaurants, micro businesses, childcare providers, and other small businesses. They're really looking to hit the hardest hit communities, including communities of color. 1/3 of funding will be targeted to businesses with primary business locations within 715 census tracts, designated as eligible as an opportunity fund. So again, that doesn't mean it precludes the other areas. It's just 1/3 of funding is targeted, that the other 2/3 is open. Basically meant to really reimburse lost revenue as a result of the business interruption. So they're looking for businesses that have been temporarily shut down, been required to reduce hours, had at least a 20% drop in revenue, or been materially impacted by employees who cannot work due to outbreak, or even had a supply chain that had been disrupted. So again, if you go on our website, it gives all of the parameters, and when you actually can register. They're asking, for instance, restaurants and childcare providers actually will do their formal applications on May 5th, and then they give the list. So again, it's an exhaustive list. Me speaking it now isn't helping anybody. We're going to link all that information on the county website. So please apply for that much needed assistance for sure. Now, there's a couple programs that came to my attention today that came to me from the Center for Prevention and Counseling. 2 programs that help at-risk youth. The first is the Adolescent Substance Abuse Treatment Program. So it's a no-cost adolescent substance abuse use program. Adolescent substance use treatment services. It includes evaluations, early intervention, education, outpatient treatment, and intensive outpatient treatment for at-risk and court-involved youth in the county. And they offer gender-specific groups for early intervention, outpatient treatment. They offer individual and family services as well. Then the second program is Think, Act, Grow. It's called the TAG program, and that's no cost. And it provides a continuum of services using evidence-based informed programs for any at-risk or court-involved youth. So the parents work together with the youth case manager, and they come up with the best plan, to help. And it can help children build interpersonal skills, emotional development, healthy relationships, social and emotional development. Really helps with cyberbullying. It can tackle sexting and violence. And referrals can include juvenile justice system, Sussex County Schools. A CMO could refer a youth, probation, DCP&P. So again, it pretty much is a catch-all. It's for intervention and support. So that's also on the website. I did push that out into some groups today across the county online, but that also is really an excellent program. And then one other thing I was asked to do, that they needed the director of the board to draft a letter to the state, to the Division of Family Health Services. So basically, we're asking for consideration for a grant for $91,000 for family-centered care services grant. And it's meant to enhance the capacity of families to meet developmental and health-related needs of children from birth through their 21st year. They have delays or disabilities. It definitely helps provide families with education support services. So in addition, the grant funds, it will be provided by Sussex County, $60,528. That's what the county has allocated. And then if we do get this grant of $91,000, we'll be able to combine that together and be able to meet the needs of the Special Child Health Services program. So I did sign that letter today and get it off, and our clerk is getting it down to the state, and hopefully we'll receive some good news that we will, be able to have that happen. Now, tonight, the two resolutions that we added are really interesting. This came to our attention. Very, very short window was given to us, and I'm not quite sure if it was something that was decided at a federal level and with a really quick turnaround time. And I understand the congressional offices also have their internal deadlines, but it was two separate programs: community project funding, which is for congressional earmarks, and then the second was House Transportation Infrastructure Committee member designated projects. So again, we had to get two projects together and get them over as soon as humanly possible. We're talking less than a week lead time, even in some circumstances, to both of the congressional offices for consideration. And each office has the ability to approve 10 projects that are submitted either from a municipality or county. And part of the requirements was asking for a resolution or letter in support of these projects. So one of the projects that we did send off to District 11, which is Congresswoman Cheryl's office, was consideration for planning work for the River Styx Bridge. So we had that definitely sent over. There was also, let me see here, for District 5, sent over to that congressional office. It was a request for, I believe, 34 miles of guide rail. As you know, Sussex County, that has been a huge, huge undertaking with our 565 square miles here in order to have adequate guide rail. That was something that we applied for, but these resolutions themselves are actually also for vehicles as well. So it's, they go into two different tracks. We did ask for vehicles for the Office of Transit to help transport our most vulnerable populations as well. So again, as we find out that money is available, from a federal level, immediately we reached out to our planners. We reached out to Bill Copenal and our staff. And some of these projects, when we submit, they have to be shovel ready when we get it. It can't be something we're just conceptualizing and saying, maybe we should do this or that. Like, they're asking for hard specifics. And I'm so proud of our staff that they had projects ready that really do capture the spirit of what these, could be considered for this very, very unexpected federal funding that's available, again, to any municipality in any county. But it would help us, exponentially if we were to receive some of these funds to be able to help with our transportation and our infrastructure. So we'll obviously keep the public posted on how all that goes, but very, very happy to report that we were able to submit applications for various projects to those two congressional offices. And that is, that's the end of my comments for this evening. We can move on to number 10, which is the approval of the consent agenda. And that is let me see here, A through D. And I'm just double checking here with our clerk that these two new resolutions we added under number 13. Am I correct? It is not part of the consent agenda.
13, correct.
Yes, it's under standard resolutions, not consent. Okay. So as of now, the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Sussex has reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions and determined that adoption of the said resolutions is in and will further the public interest. If any commissioner would like to remove an item to be considered separately, please do so now. So I need a motion to adopt the consent agenda A through D.
Still
I'll make
move.
the motion. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, pass. Number 11, approval of minutes. These are the regular meeting minutes, March 24th, 2021, and the executive session minutes, March 24th, 2021, and the special meeting minutes, March 31st, 2021, and the executive session minutes, March 31st, 2021. So I'll need a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting, executive session, and special meeting, and the special meeting executive session.
Still move.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Pass. Number
Aye.
12, we have appointments and/or resignations. So we actually have two appointments this evening. We have Margaret Bongiorno to the Board of Education of the Sussex County Technical School to fulfill an unexpired term to begin immediately and expire October 31st, 2022. We also have an appointment of Dave Smith, a senior citizen member of the Sussex County Senior Services Advisory Council for a 2-year term effective immediately and expire on December 31st, 2022. Dave Smith has replaced the prior individual in Sparta as their Senior Services Advisory Council on that board. So the prior person was actually on our board. So now Dave is going to be taking that position. So I need a motion to adopt the resolutions A and B.
I'll make the motion.
In a second. Discuss. Second.
Second, Anthony.
Good.
Thank you. Any discussion? Terry, can you please call the roll?
Commissioner Carney,
Yes.
Director Fantasia,
Yes.
Commissioner Fasano,
Yes.
Commissioner Yardley.
Yes.
Thank you. Pass. Okay. Now we're on to resolutions. Now, again, on our initial agenda, it was resolutions A through H, but now it is resolutions A through J, with the inclusion of the two resolutions in support of the County Commissioners Community Project funding applications to New Jersey's 5th Congressional District and then to the 11th Congressional District. So at this time, I need a motion to adopt resolutions A through J.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Discussion? Terry, please call the roll.
Commissioner Carney,
Yes.
Director Fantasia,
Yes.
Commissioner Fasano,
Yes.
Commissioner Yardley.
Yes.
It passed. Next, 14, awards of contract, change orders, and bid. We have A and B. The Board of County Commissioners of the County of Sussex has reviewed the award of contract, change orders, bids consisting of various proposed resolutions and determined that adoption of the said resolution is in and will further the public interest. I need a motion to adopt resolutions A and B.
I'll make the motion.
And a second.
Second, Anthony.
Terry, please call the roll.
Commissioner Carney,
Yes.
Director Fantasia,
Yes.
Commissioner Fasano,
Yes.
Commissioner Yardley.
Yes.
Number 15, financial resolution, payment of the bills list as of April 14th, 2021. I need a motion to adopt the bills list.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Terry, please call the roll.
Commissioner Carney,
Yes.
Director Fantasia,
Yes.
Commissioner Fasano,
Yes.
Commissioner Yardley.
Yes.
Okay, B is an introduction for first reading, Capital Ordinance 21-01, a capital ordinance providing for road improvements, information technology and communications improvements, general capital improvements, and acquisition of non-passenger vehicles, buses, and/or equipment for various county-owned facilities in and for the County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $3,125,503, therefore to pay for the cost thereof. Now, Elke Yetter, are you on the line?
I am, Dawn. Commissioner,
That's fine.
sorry.
No, it's Dawn, it's fine. Could you please share for the benefit of the public a bit about this?
This ordinance is a fully funded ordinance that will pay for $3,125,503 in capital projects. It includes, just get to my paperwork. It includes various technology upgrades for our security system. It also includes radio system upgrades for some of our DPW and office and bridge of traffic safety vehicles. It includes LSRP for our different site remediation projects, and vehicles including a bus for transit, some brine de-icing systems, and our crack sealing for our roads. This is fully funded, therefore no new debt would be approved for this ordinance.
Thank you. So at this time, I need a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading and authorize the clerk to advertise this ordinance as introduced for first reading and also post the same on the bulletin board in the lobby of the County Administrative Center, together with notice of public hearing stating that a hearing will be held on April 28th, 2021 at 6 p.m. prior to final adoption of this ordinance. So I need a motion for that.
So move.
And a second?
Second, Anthony.
Any board discussion? Okay, Terry, please call the roll.
Commissioner Carney,
Yes.
Director Fantasia,
Yes.
Commissioner Fasano,
Yes.
Commissioner Yardley.
Yes.
Now on to C, introduction for first reading, ordinance 2102. It's a bond ordinance providing for various 2021 capital improvements by and in the County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $15,179,319 therefore, including grants in the amount of $7,349,052 and authorizing $7,513,160 bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the costs thereof. So Elka, again, I'm going to go to you.
Okay, this is our bond ordinance for the year 2020 pursuant to the budget capital budget subcommittee's agreement on capital for the year, part of our capital plan. It includes, it's $15 million total, $7,349,052 from grants primarily for the road resurfacing program and some of our bridges. The rest to be authorized by debt, and it also includes vehicles, single axle dump truck, various bridges improvements that we and the bonding would be $7,513,160.
Thank you. So I need a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading and authorize the clerk to advertise this ordinance as introduced for first reading and also post the same on the bulletin board in the lobby of the County Administrative Center, together with a notice of public hearing stating that a hearing will be held on April 28th, 2021 at 6 p.m. prior to final adoption of this ordinance. So I would like that motion, please.
Still moved.
And a second?
Second, Anthony.
Discussion? Terry, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Carney,
Yes.
Director Fantasia,
Yes.
Commissioner Fasano,
Yes.
Commissioner Yardley.
Yes.
And now we move on to D, introduction for first reading, ordinance 2103, bond ordinance providing for capital improvements to the Sussex County Technical School, located within the County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $900,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $900,000 in bonds or notes of the County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, for financing of such appropriation. Again, Elka, would you please give an explanation of that for the benefit of the public?
Sure. This is a bond ordinance for the Sussex County Technical Schools 2021 program. This includes $900,000 primarily for HVAC repairs to the building and the replacement of a salt shed, as authorized by the Board of School Estimate.
Thank you. I need a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading and authorize the clerk to advertise this ordinance as introduced for first reading and also post same on the bulletin board in the lobby of the County Administrative Center, together with a notice of public hearing stating that a hearing will be held on April 28th, 2021 at 6 p.m. prior to final adoption of this ordinance. Motion, please.
So moved, Anthony.
And a second?
Second, Herb.
Discussion? Terry, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Carney,
Yes.
Director Fantasia,
Yes.
Commissioner Fasano,
Yes.
Commissioner Yardley.
Yes.
Number 16, personnel. The resolution authorizing the personnel agenda of April 14th, 2021. I need a motion to adopt the personnel agenda.
So
So
moved.
moved.
I'll second.
Okay,
Commissioner Carney.
thank you. Is there discussion? Roll call, Terry, please.
Commissioner Carney,
Yes.
Director Fantasia,
Yes.
Commissioner Fasano,
Yes.
Commissioner Patillo. Oh, I'm sorry. Pardon me. Commissioner Yardley. I'm sorry. Commissioner Yardley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're now on number 17, which is the administrative report from Administrator Poff.
Yes, thank you very much, Director. And I'd also like to thank Elka Yetter for her covering the particulars of the capital ordinances that were considered by the board. In addition, to thank the board for adding on these two resolutions of support that will allow us to submit to our congressional delegation much needed transit improvements to our Office of Transit. So thank you. The two items I'd like to touch upon this evening, and I'll be brief because I know we have a few things to discuss in executive session later, but one were the comments made by Commissioner Yardley as it pertains to developments with the state's implementation of new election law. I have been in contact with the clerk to the Board of Elections, as well as the county clerk, and we are developing a game plan as to the county being able to provide some logistical support to the Board of Elections, similar to what we did last year. And I will continue to keep the board and the public apprised of the progress that we make. Clearly, the implementation of these new laws places tremendous pressure on our Board of Elections, and we stand committed to assist them with whatever resources and logistics they need to ensure free and fair elections. So I will, again, keep the board apprised of the conversations that come out of my initial discussions with the chief clerk of the Board of Elections. Secondly, I appreciate Julia Gurel having been on the phone, recognizing our Medical Reserve Corps and all the volunteers that have been involved with our vaccination site. She's much too modest, but she serves as our operations manager for the site. It's really hard to believe that the Division of Health really has just only 4 full-time personnel committed to the operation of that site, and only underscores not only the commitment of the staff, but also the tremendous support that we receive from the volunteers. It's also important to recognize the Sheriff's Office and the Office of Emergency Management that provide tremendous support to that vaccination site as well. I'm very pleased to report this evening that we have actually been through the list of 20,000 registrants to our vaccination site. That's not to say that all of those have made appointments, in as much as we're seeing a rather significant change in demand, given the fact that the availability of vaccine is throughout the county in a number of sites, not only available through the county site. And so we are currently in the process of making upgrades to our registration site to hopefully make it that much easier for residents that are still in need of being able to make appointments. So I would encourage everyone to visit the county website to be able to click on the vaccination portal and to be able to take advantage of upcoming appointments that will be available at the fairgrounds. In conclusion, I just also want to not only recognize the fairgrounds, its board of directors, and Mike Richards specifically for their assistance, but as the fairgrounds anticipates use of the Richards building, which the county had used during most of the winter time during the inclement weather, we have made improvements, and the board having authorized the rental of some tents. We will be relocating on the grounds of the fairgrounds to continue the vaccination site there at the fairgrounds. The Richards building had previously been committed for a number of different events that the fairgrounds will be hosting. And so our ability to erect and use these tents, along with some very good site work that the County Division of Public Works has done to help facilitate our continued use of the grounds at the fairgrounds, I'd like to recognize and is most appreciated. We will continue to make upgrades to our registration portal and encourage people to visit back to the county website regularly to be able not only to see the upgrades that we've made, but also for the ability to make appointments for vaccinations. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Again, I think it was a really good move that the Board of Elections had asked to add an additional member to the board from either side, to add one Democrat, one Republican, appointed from both, because I know they saw, this coming again with the expanded voting options in response to the pandemic. I think that was a smart move. Again, we're not the only county that moved forward with that, and hopefully that will also be of assistance as they try to make this, make this new system effective.
So you're in there, right?
I'm sorry, who's speaking? We are going to move on to number 18, which is our county council report. I don't anticipate that we do have a report. Kevin Kelly is ill this evening. We do have Attorney Joseph Bell in his place. So welcome and thank you. Thank you, Joe, for joining us this evening. I don't know if you have anything that you would like to add.
No, but thank you, Madam Director. I have no official report this evening.
Thank you. Moving on to number 19, unfinished business. Does any commissioner have any unfinished business? Not hearing any. Number 20, new business. Does any commissioner have any new business?
Yes, Director, I do. And I should have touched base on this on my commissioner comments, but it's important that I get this out. So I have two items. One, again, this should be in my comment earlier, and then I actually have some new business. I just want a little shout out to Sparta Township Council, Mayor Christine Quinn in the council. Last month, they did a proclamation. It was Donate Life Month. And this actually hit home with me 2 days prior to me reading this article and tap into. A good friend of mine called me and he basically said, this is long overdue, our conversation. He's dying of cancer. He needs a liver transplant. So this kind of went hand in hand when I read this. So basically, this initiative encourages people to consider becoming organ donors, while honoring those who have given and those who have received the gift of life. By becoming an organ donor, one person can save eight people. In 2020, record year was 14% increase in donor registry. The number of men, women, children on the national transplant waiting list as of February 2021 is more than 100 107,000 people. 7 people die each day waiting for an organ donation. If you're looking for any additional statistics, you can go to organdonor.gov. Again, people don't even think about this stuff until it hits home, and me being one of them. So you could really do a lot of help by being an organ donor. I didn't even know my wife was an organ donor. I was, as I was reading the article, it said, talk to your loved ones. And I told my wife what I wanted to do. And she answered back, well, why wouldn't you be? And she's right. So why aren't we all? Any more information to look up, you can look up on the website, www.njsharingnetwork.org. Again, that's www.njsharingnetwork.org. As for new business, I don't know if this is a question for Terry or Greg, but I would like to see if we can switch up the roll call. Probably not until we go back into in-person meetings, just because I know people are a little slow on the draw to get to the mute button. What's the protocol, or how can we get that done? Again,
According to the county's administrative code, the roll call is alphabetical order.
Okay, there can be a way, if the board wishes, I mean, we could always discuss a rotating. I know different municipalities do it differently, different counties do it differently, whether it is, I know when I was in Franklin Borough, and our procedure was to rotate from meeting to meeting, who was voting first. So that's something that I think would be fine. I mean, it would just require us to change, make an amendment to the code, so the order would change. Also, I would ask you, traditionally, even when we give our comments, traditionally it does go alphabetically, starts with the first, goes through the 3 commissioners, then to the deputy, then to the director. If you want that to also follow some type of rotating schedule, I'd be fine with that as well. So, I mean, that could be something. I don't know how everybody feels about that.
I don't need, Commissioner, I don't or need the comments to change. I actually that's a nice setup. At least we know who's going first and so on and so forth, so you can be prepared. It's just a roll call when it comes to voting. I think it should be switched up. And again, not until we get into in person, because I know how it's tough sometimes to hit the mute button, or unmute yourself, I should say. So whatever they do to change that, I would like to get
Commissioner
that.
Yardley, what are your thoughts, and Commissioner Fasano?
This is Commissioner Fasano. I have no issue with it at all.
Commissioner Yardley?
I'd like to know what the process would be.
Greg, perhaps you can comment on that.
Well, I know that when before they found this resolution, I was, as a new member, I was the first one on every meeting. So I don't object to Chris's idea. I just would like to know, what procedure do you want to follow? How would it rotate? Is it going to be random, or are we going to say, we'll start this way and then rotate it? What's the process? That's all. I don't have an objection to changing it. I just want to know what the procedure will be, so we have a procedure and not be just random.
Well, my thought, Herb, would just be random, but whatever you guys prefer. Just not the same person every time. It should be switched up.
As the first vote, I can tell you what we did in Franklin. It was just as we were seated. So if it started, let's say on January 1st, and it started to the left of the dais and worked through, then the following meeting it went to the next person and they voted first, and and so it just kind of went for us it actually went counterclockwise, and that was how the rotation worked. So I think that could be done.
Yeah, I personally have no problem with that. That's fine. It would make it easier for Terry when she does roll call. And again, I keep saying this, but when we get in person, I think that's a good start. It gives us a little time.
Well, you have to. This is Herb. You have to change the regulation. So that will take that'll take some time. You have to write that up, present it, and then vote on it, and then change it. So it would probably be a meeting or two before you can do that.
All right, so I'm going to ask Greg and then Joe, if you can make a note, please, for our county council, for Kevin Kelly, just to work together as to how we can amend that. So there will be a rotating roll call for voting.
Director, it's Greg. I will follow up with county council and we will prepare a draft amendment to the administrative code that the commissioners can consider at an upcoming meeting.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any new business? I just want to make note too, the easiest way to, if your driver's license is up for renewal, you can also check the box to become an organ donor on that. That's how I did mine back in the day. I mean, years and years ago, you're actually, when you renew your license, you can just check that and become an organ donor. But if you're not due for a license renewal anytime soon, please don't wait for that if you really wish to be, and you could go to the website and get information about that. But that's just an easy way. If you're renewing your license now, you can certainly check the box. And thanks for bringing that to our attention, Chris.
Thank you.
So now moving on to number 21, that's public session from the floor. This public session is for general questions or comments. Again, before we open the session, we ask callers wanting to make a comment to first state your name and municipality. Clerk will create the roster and call each in the order received. Comments are limited to 3 minutes or less. We ask that all comments are directed to the board. And again, the same rules of decorum that would apply in a public meeting that was live, in person, will also apply to this. We ask that we don't have individuals who are speaking at each other, nor unmuting themselves and speaking out of turn. So I need a motion to open the floor for public comment.
I'll make the motion, Dawn.
And a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, so at this time, anyone that wishes to speak, please unmute yourself, state your name. You'll have to go slowly because there will definitely, being that we are digital, there's gonna be a lot of talking over each other. So please just state your name, state your municipality, and the clerk will create the roster. If you're on a phone, you hit *6 to unmute yourself. On Zoom, you hit the red icon with the microphone.
Joseph Lavabera, Stillwater.
Donna Mullen, Franklin.
Just callers.
Paul
I'm
Deacon.
sorry, I have to take callers. Please slow down. I have Joe LaBavera from Stillwater. Who was the second, the female?
Donna Mullen, Franklin.
Steve Salvaggio, Hopakon.
Okay, callers, please. I am having to write this manually. Who was the caller from Hopakon?
Steven Salvaggio.
Paul Deekman from Wantage.
Paul Deekman, can you?
Yeah. DEITCHMAN.
From Wanted.
Yes.
Okay.
Mick
Zoe.
DiPiano. Oh, sorry. Mick DiPiano from Newton.
Mick DiPiano, Newton. Okay.
Zoe Heath, Vernon.
Zoe Heath. Okay, I've got you, Zoe.
Katie Rotundi, Hampton.
Katie Rotundi, Hampton. Yes?
Natalie Buccieri, Vernon.
Natalie Buccieri. What, I'm sorry, Natalie, where was Hampton? I see. Okay.
No, it's Vernon. Natalie Buccieri with a B, and the township is Vernon.
Vernon. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm getting.
That's okay. Thanks.
Next caller, or was that our last?
Lauren
Jason
G,
K.
Sparta Township.
I'm sorry. The female from Sparta. What was the first name?
Lauren Jean, Lauren, G like green, N like Nancy, E.
Lauren, were you the individual with their hand raised? Because I just lowered
Yes.
the hand. Okay, I just want to make sure that was you. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
There was a male caller after that.
Yes, hi, Jason Kay, spelled Kay, Newton.
Christy Lavin Hardison.
All right, Christy Hardiston, yes.
Jim Baldini, Sandiston.
Jim Baldini, Sandiston.
Alex Majewski, Newton.
Alex Majewski, Newton, okay.
Kate Salerno, Sparta.
Kate Salerno, Sparta, all right.
I'm checking the list of participants. I don't see any hands raised at this time. I believe that concludes the list. So at this time, Terry, would you please call the roll in order?
Joe Labara from Stillwater.
Yes, thank you very much. I just wanted to say thank you to Mr. Space, Assemblyman Space, for that outstanding international effort to get the fire equipment to Alabama. The logistics behind that, the leadership behind that is utterly phenomenal, and it speaks volumes about our leadership here in this county. We got to be able to replicate that. That should be put in our playbook, and we should be doing in other areas of the country as well. It speaks volumes for the way we think up here. And then also, I looked up in New Jersey government's 2019, 2020 bias incident reporting at a glance, and just to back up what Commissioner Fasano was saying, Sussex County is like the fourth to fifth lowest county in terms of bias crimes of the entire state. We get blown away by companies with similar populations that have 3 to 4 times the amount of so-called bias crimes. And also, I understand bias is a New Jersey statute, but this is ad hoc law. This is adding on to crime that is already a crime to begin with. So if we're going to start labeling crimes to fit a political narrative, we're going to go into very dangerous territory. So I would like to see us steer away from that, at least until we can get the law changed in New Jersey to be more constitutional. But I'm good on Sussex County. It's very low in bias crime, and it's very, very low compared to other counties with similar populations. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next caller is Donna Mullen from Franklin.
Hi, Terry. Thank you. And thank you to the Board of Commissioners. I just wanted to bring up, I don't know if the resolution has been worked on and passed with regards to the anti-hate. And if it has, I'll reach out, Terry, for a copy of it. But I'd just like to bring up that the Attorney General Gerber Grewal's bias incident report indicated that in Sussex County, there were 16 incidents in 2019, and these are bias incidents. These are not just crime incidents. In 2020, there were 30. I heard Dawn mention 32. I don't know if that's the count for 2021, and if it is, that's a big issue for this county. Starting in April, this report will be issued monthly, and I would expect that the Board of Commissioners would address this with regards to this report. And hopefully, if the resolution again has not been passed or whatever, that they'll look at this. Also, I have to say the dog whistles about Patterson and Trenton. If I had a dog, the dog would be under the bed. Another thing I'd like to mention, Sylvia Patillo, and she's not there tonight. In the last meeting I was at, said she was going to set up some community groups to discuss this resolution. I would advise that you invite community members or put something on your website. Invite seniors, invite LGBTQ people, invite all the residents of Sussex County, invite minorities, invite students who are dealing with bullying and hate crimes in schools, and listen to them, because these are the people that are putting you into office, and these are the people you represent. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next caller is Steve Savaggio from Hopatcon.
Hi, good evening, everyone. And I just want to say thank you again, always, for the county commissioners for your continued service, honesty, and respect towards our residents of Sussex County. Before I begin, I just wanted to respectfully ask all callers, that's the word, ask, to be respectful and courteous toward the county commissioners and respected towards the guests tonight. Saying that, I'm just going to cut right down to it. I'm going to call out Josh Gottenheimer in his recent statements toward the county commissioners on the 25th. In Josh's own words, if commissioners have any doubt the specter of white supremacy, I'm ready to help. Josh also said the Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, and 3%ers are active here in Sussex County. Josh, I urge you just to wake up and listen. You bring up white supremacy in Sussex County, but you fail to mention Antifa and Black Lives Matter groups in Sussex County as well. Just look at Space Farms in Wantage when it was vandalized with anti-police graffiti in 2020. The street sign vandalized with the Black Lives Matter slogan near Mike Strada's house. I've also done a lot of cheering for the Becky and of course, Donald Trump's campaigns by putting up signs in the counties for the November elections. To my dismay, almost 3/4 of the signs I put up were gone or destroyed in less than 5 hours. Later, I found out that there were similar issues in other towns with signs being taken down or vandalized. One of the worst cases of vandalism I saw in Sussex County from BLM and Antifa was when a homeowner's house was vandalized twice within a month with F Trump and Black Lives Matter slogans. Think about that. The same house vandalized twice in a month. That's not very tolerable. All in all, I think Josh is just trying to make friends with the young Sussex County Democrats. I also have a message for the Sussex County Informer. No one is sending you message or trolling on your page. When you see something you don't like posted on your page, you just immediately block them. So please just stop with the misinformation. Sussex County will not stand for that hateful rhetoric.
Mr. Salvaggio, I'm sorry, can you direct the comments at the board? I understand that you're, sharing your thoughts, but your comments need to be directed at the board and not specific individuals of the public.
I got you done. I apologize, but I'm done for the evening.
Okay, thank you. Our next caller is Paul Dykeman from Wantage.
Correct, yes. Hi, thank you for letting me talk. My topic of concern tonight are the bias incidents that I've been reading about lately. The sad reality is that the Democrats are using this as a ploy to cover up the horrible job they've been doing. For those of you who don't know, murder in this state is up 23%, especially in the Democratic cities. The bias reports are being released by the liberal left to distract from the poor job they continue to do. Why doesn't Trenton report on that? We all know it's a tactic of deflection. I mean, everybody knows that. Why do the bias reports say nothing about the shooting at the sheriff's house or the spray paint on the Space Farm sign, which was mentioned before? That just proves my point. The bias report is a cover-up for failed Democratic policies. I've lived in this county my entire life, and it has been completely safe for me and my family. I've never felt threatened, nor have ever seen people around me threatened. I asked this board to turn up the heat on Phil Murphy and his horrible administration. That leads me to another point tonight. The Sussex County Democrats are out of control. They want to speak out against anyone who disagrees with and want to cancel everything they don't like. I hate to break it to them, but there is something out there called the First Amendment. And yes, freedom of speech. You don't have to like what I say, but I have every right to say it. For example, coronavirus, Wuhan virus, China virus, they're all the same thing, and I can say that. And if you don't like it, tough. Remember, this didn't originate from Ireland. The people of Sussex County will not be canceled. All you Democrats want to do is talk about how much you hate Sussex County and how bad a place it is to live. This is not true. It's simply not true. If you don't like the community here, then don't move here. It's not rocket science. The Sussex County Democrats and their leadership are some of the most hateful, shameful, and deplorable people in my existence. I love Sussex County and will not let the Democrats destroy it. Perhaps the Sussex Democrats should volunteer in the community more and do something useful with their lives. Go to church. Or better yet, some need to go seek mental help since they're all off of their meds. The behavior they exhibit is not normal. So I would appreciate if they could find something to do better with their time instead of coming to these meetings and complain. Good night and God bless. Thank you.
Our next caller is Mick DiPiano from Newton.
Hi, yes, I'd like to ask the commissioners,
where they allowed the previous caller to address the Sussex County Democrats and another caller to address the callers at large, despite saying we weren't allowed to do that. It seems flagrantly disrespectful and against the very rules you set out, and yet you have allowed 2 callers to target those groups, and I do not understand why. People talk about respect, but there's literally zero respect coming from these comments right now, and it flagrantly rejects what you said about making comments towards the commissioners. The comments towards the Sussex County Democrats is not a comment towards the commissioners. I don't understand why it's allowed. I was just going to ask how the commissioners felt about the upcoming Tennessee pipeline project.
I'm sorry, Mick, what we're doing, I'm taking down notes on everything everybody speaks about. Are you asking, because I'm going to address some of these points following all the speakers. So I don't want to take from your 3 minutes if you have something else that you wanted to add.
Yeah, where did I cut off?
No, please continue. You've got 30 seconds on top.
Oh, so I want to know how you feel about that topic, and I hope we can work together on it. Oh, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Our next caller is Zoe Heath from Vernon.
Thank you. I would love to point out that at their special meeting, not only did our commissioners acknowledge Trans Day of Visibility, they pledged to stop racism or bigotry when they heard it. And while callers previously have also talked about racist dog whistles with having incredibly demeaning nicknames for the COVID-19 virus, nobody said anything. So I see that pledge means nothing. I would also like to point out that no one is trying to cancel Sussex County. Anyone who has come on this call and talked about the problems that they see here with hate crimes and hate and bias incidents, we all point that out because we want to make Sussex County better. It's the most patriotic thing you can do to call out a problem that you see and want to make it better. No one is trying to cancel a place where many of us grew up in and still live in. We simply want to point out the problems, acknowledge them, and make it better. That being said, I was lucky enough to get my vaccine at the Sussex County Fairgrounds. I'm really appreciative that the commissioners have taken the time to thank all of the volunteers who work really hard to get vaccines, because as difficult as it was to get a vaccine, I thought the county website had some problems that I really hope get fixed for just how difficult it was to make an appointment. All of the volunteers at the county vaccine site were incredibly helpful and made it seem worth the trouble to go through the county website. So thank you for acknowledging the volunteers, and please acknowledge the racism that you see every day, even if it isn't directed towards you. Thank you.
Okay, our next caller is Katie Rotundi from Hampton.
Hi, thank you. I just want to say that I think it's absolutely just deplorable that it was allowed for someone to say Wuhan virus and China virus again when a public speaker asked outright at the special meeting on the 31st whether or not you would call that out, and we were told, the public was told that you would, and you did not, and it's shocking and despicable, and it's really a problem. And I was going to speak on something else, and I think I still may, but it's just so shocking. And just because it is not your lived experience doesn't mean that it's very real. So this isn't about canceling. This isn't about anything but that. This is about speaking to our lived experiences in order to uplift communities that are discriminated against, that are marginalized. That's what this is about, nothing else. That's what respect is. Please respect the Asian American community commissioners by calling it out immediately. And the other thing I would like to say is that from the New Jersey League of Municipalities regarding OTMA, I want to correct what Commissioner Dawn Fantasia said last time, that having 3 people at the meeting with Congressman Gottheimer and the New Jersey Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness is incorrect. And I will read the law again, the 3rd time I'm reading a law for you guys. The Open Public Meetings Act creates a strong presumption of access and should be liberally construed. However, not all meetings are public meetings. In order to be covered by OTMA, the public body in question must consist of more than 1 person and be empowered by law to spend public funds or be empowered by law to affect a person's right. The following groups or meetings of individuals are not considered public bodies and thus are not covered by OTMA. Informal or advisory bodies, meetings between a public official and subordinates who are not empowered to act by vote, political party organizations, meetings not open to all members of the public body, meetings where discussion or action on public business will not take place, typical partisan caucus meetings, chance encounters of members of a public body. Your meeting falls under this, and there's more. You guys could read it if you want. And please get your acts together on calling out racism, because it is too, you are hurting people.
Are you finished, Katie?
Yeah, I'm finished. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Time is up. Next caller, I have to apologize. I had a little bit of an accident here at my desk. It is, begins with an N. I'm sorry. Is it Nathan or Nadia from Vernon? His second name begins with a B.
It's Natalie.
Natalie,
like Natalie Wood.
Yep.
Natalie Bucherri from Vernon. Thank you. That's okay. So
Sorry
I had,
about that.
That's okay. I had 2 quick things that I wanted to say regarding your roll call. Just wanted to let you know that when I served on the Vernon Township Board of Ed, we did have a rotating roll call. And I believe the way our board secretary did that was she had a roster of all of our names alphabetically and started off with the top one, and then the next vote went to the second one, and just continued to do that throughout the meeting. So it was a continuous roll. I guess, I don't know what's easier for the board secretary to do, but I just wanted to share that how the Vernon Township Board of Ed did the roll call. So we were always in a different order, always voting, before or after different people, depending on where it was in the alphabet, where he started rather. So I think that is a helpful and a good idea. And I also wanted to quickly touch base on the bias crimes. I have not done much research. I hope the county commissioners would maybe dig into that a little bit more. But I believe I did read somewhere that the standards of what a bias crime would be had been adjusted recently. And I don't know if that's correct or not, but I think that could be telling to the numbers if that is true. So I would hope, obviously it's an issue that needs to be addressed. Any crime is an issue that needs to be addressed in our county, but I think Sussex County is a great place to live. It's a safe place. Nothing is going to be perfect. Wherever there's human beings, there's going to be conflict, there's going to be negativity, because unfortunately that is human nature. But as a county, I think Sussex County is a wonderful, safe, and welcoming place to live. And I would definitely encourage the commissioners to look a little more deeply into those numbers, and maybe we could get a better picture of them at a later date. I think that would be great for everyone involved. Thank you for your time. I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Lauren Jean from Sparta.
Yes, here I am. I'm wondering, can you please tell me what is the definition we're using for hate? Who gets to define hate? I just think we all need to get on the same page about the definitions of these things, since they're so inflammatory. We need to all agree on one singular definition. Is it only things against white people, or is it only things against Black people, or is KKK not a good thing, but BLM is okay?
KKK is bad. BLM is good.
Hey, caller, Lauren, I need to ask the caller who has the line. She has the time. Is that concluding your comments?
Thank you.
I'm sorry, this is Commissioner Fantasia. I'm going to ask the call moderator that, again, we have yet to make it through one meeting where somebody could not contain themselves. We're just not at that level. So I'm going to ask the moderator to please eject the gentleman who could not contain himself.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I don't think it's fair that one person gets to define the things that we're all supposed to follow. Or one group gets to define it. That doesn't seem fair to me.
Excuse me, caller, does that conclude your comment?
Yes, thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, we will move on to our next caller, who is Jason Kay from Newton.
Yes, I am here. Hi. A friendly reminder, legality isn't a guide to morality. The Holocaust was legal. Hiding Jews was criminalized. Slavery was legal. Freeing the slaves was criminalized. Bias incident reporting is legal in New Jersey. Rejecting stereotyping is now becoming socially unacceptable. How did we get there? Bias incident reporting creates and reinforces stereotypes, period. It is fraught with subjectivity, and as a result leads to false accusations and false conclusions for our police and citizens alike. Why are we allowing this poison in our community? Why are we spending millions of tax dollars educating our police on the pseudoscience of internal bias? Why are we putting officer lives at risk and setting up our citizens for false social narratives? Police officers have three things to worry about during public interactions: who the sheep are, who the wolves are, and who the wolves are in sheep's clothing. Police training dollars would better serve the community, utilizing legitimate anthropological analysis of human universals and human behavior for officer safety and public safety, which, by the way, rejects stereotypes and profiling. Bias incident reporting is not a tool to understand community issues. In fact, our top cop, Grall, Attorney General of New Jersey, stated that bias incidents may generate fear and concern among victims and the community. Is that the ultimate goal? Further, it is also leading to documented cases of harassment of suspected violators. I can guarantee that everyone hearing my voice will be affected by this witch hunt through a bias incident response team on a college campus or at your workplace, or being actually charged with a bias intimidation crime. It is strictly a tool of community division, as Congressman Gottheimer demonstrated at Sussex College, where he spoke recently. Bias incident analysis is nothing more than a legalized political weapon that Gottheimer and Gruhl and other political figures use for political effect. Historically, so-called bias conflicts are best handled between individuals, as they always have been, without the interference of governmental thought police. Legality isn't a guide to morality. Bias incident reporting should be rejected at all levels. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next caller is Christy Lavin from Hardiston.
Hi, I'm here. First, I wanted to thank the commissioners for acknowledging the great work that Ginny's House and Daisy provide in our community to help heal children, families, and survivors. These are really such critical services in Sussex County, and acknowledging them helps increase awareness. Secondly, I just wanted to speak to the comments Commissioner Fasano made. He spoke to, if I heard him correctly, I just want to acknowledge it's really hard when we're hearing something in vivo to make sure that we hear something correctly. So I want to be aware of that. Some have mistrust of our neighbors and some agenda, and also that there is some instance of biased crimes or racial concerns in our county last year. He spoke to about 20. For those of us that advocated for the anti-hate resolution, we advocated to our leaders, meaning you, Commissioner Fasano, to let those factions know that you and no other people of influence support them. In no way did I assume or believe that all of Sussex County had this problem. The stats speak for themselves. We can rely on Homeland Security data as well as the updated police bias crime stats to be informed that there is a presence in Sussex County. Being clear, asking for your support without misunderstanding would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next caller is Jim Baldini from Sandiston.
Thank you, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. So I wanted to actually dive into the numbers. And talk about the bias 2019 report. There were 994 reported cases. Some of the things that you may not be aware of. And before actually I do that, I want to point out that the commissioner has set a whole set of standards for us to determine what is a bias incident. But at the end of this, on page 11 of his instruction report, he says, if after applying these criteria and asking the appropriate questions, a suspected bias incident cannot be definitively determined to be any other type of incident or is a borderline case, it should be treated as a bias incident for continuing investigation, which means if you don't find it, keep looking. And so that is, first major concern, but that's a directive from the Attorney General. But let's talk about the numbers. The numbers as they're laid out, there's 994 incidents of bias in 2019. We have a number for the 2020, but it's not thoroughly broken down. We have 342 of those that were actually cleared, which means they found a perpetrator for somebody who committed one of these acts. Now, that's 342. That's 34% that they actually found somebody. Of that 34, only 92 were arrested. So I want you to keep that in mind. That's 9% of the entire time. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed considered a crime to do a bias incident. It's an entire code written into New Jersey statute. So that's 9% that were arrested. Of that, 28 were juveniles and 64 were adults, which means 30% of them were 17 or younger. Let's look at the numbers a little bit broader. If we look at the number of people who were actually the number of individuals who committed these incidents, and there are, it breaks it down. The report does a thorough job of breaking down the number of individuals and their age. You look at 158 were juveniles. That's 46% of those who were the offenders. Of 386 offenders, 158 of them were juveniles. That's 17 or younger, which means 46% of those people who committed these offenders were juveniles. That's where you can see many of these incidents of bias that happening across the state, not just in Sussex County. So I'm sorry, I still have not seen the evidence to support this wide-ranging bit of bias throughout our county. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't bias. Clearly, there has been incidents, but there isn't the overlarge dramatic effect that Congressman, the political guy who wants to make his name out there, is trying to portray, nor the other political people who are trying to make their name.
I'm sorry, your time is up. I need to move on to the next call. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you. Our next caller is Alec Majewski from Newton. Alec, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everyone. Integrity, transparency, and ethics. Remember these words. It is these words which are the basis for a successful government. It is these words that enable government to work for the people who it serves. This Commissioner Board exemplifies the meaning of these words. They work extremely hard for us in this county, day in and day out. I applaud their efforts, and you should too. This board is here to ask tough questions when necessary. And yes, they have a backbone when it comes to issues that impact all of us. Remember that, all of us. They have done a tremendous job and will keep up the great work. Anyone who has anything to say otherwise must be kidding themselves. Sadly, many people from the community like to attend these calls to push their own agenda and narrative. Let's leave it to the commissioners to conduct county business like they were elected to do. I'd like to take a moment to discuss the job description of what a commissioner does. Now think about this the next time you choose to speak at another meeting. The commissioners are the center of legislative and administrative responsibility in a county, and as such, they perform a due role. As legislators, they draw up and adopt the budget, and as administrators, they're responsible for spending the funds they have appropriated. The commissioners set policy for the operation of 4 main departments, and they also serve on the boards of school estimate for the county technical school and the community college. The county government also addresses issues such as strategic growth, solid waste disposal, water quality, the maintenance of county roads and bridges, farmland preservation, and open space in the county library system. Just think about that description, and that's what the commissioner is here to do, and that's the job that they are here to. I ask that people leave them to it to allow them to do their county business and help us out as a taxpayer. I'd like to thank the commissioners for their time and dedication to the community. Have a good night, y'all.
Thank you. Our next caller is Kate Salerno from Sparta.
Hi,
Go ahead, Kate.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, I completely agree with some of the things that were said here. Christy Levin, I think, put it really, really well. And I'd like to point out that the speakers that have, again, I don't know how many meetings into this we are at this point, 9 this year, where white supremacy, the anti-hate resolution, the concerns of citizens that are calling in continue to come up time and time again in these board meetings. I mean, time and again, you're seeing that no one, I mean, not that people aren't calling in for agenda items for sure, but I mean, these meetings are extending every single time because you have people that are committed to just getting you to acknowledge something that is so simple. And I mean, the comment from Yardley about, Commissioner Yardley, sorry, about wanting to cancel Sussex County, all you've been hearing, and to repeat what Dawn has said, all of this is recorded in perpetuity, that you've heard the people who have come onto these meetings speak calmly, appropriately. I mean, I'm not speaking about people speaking out of turn or whatever, but when we're bringing up these issues and the things that we just, you know, wanting you to condemn white supremacy, we haven't brought up Republicans, like we haven't, I don't know, like so much has been made of people talking about the Democratic agenda when we know for a fact that some of the callers that are here applauding the commissioner's work are legitimately running for positions in local government. I mean, that in and of itself is a joke. And then to listen time and time again, meeting after meeting after meeting, the people that just come on and in one sentence ask for respect and that people speak with respect and be respectful and all of this stuff about pro-respect. And then in the next breath, I mean, just the things that they say about Democrats and when this is merely like, I am an individual who has lived in this county, just like everybody has said, that's come on these calls my entire life. I have generational ties here. I love this county. It's a beautiful county. And the whole reason why I've been involved this entire year and even coming on these calls and some like wasting so much time with just the talking. Oh my God, I'm getting through everything else just to get you to just condemn white supremacy. I mean, talk about who I forget was it what, it doesn't matter because I'm supposed to be talking to you. Talk about like you are the elected officials. And I know that this whole meeting, today was look at what a great job we're doing. And like Christy said, and other people have said, there are things that we do stand behind, like Daisy, like going against domestic violence and sexual assault, things like that. There are so many things that we support, and yet again, meeting after meeting after meeting, we're just asking you to condemn racism, to condemn white supremacy. This is an election year. Like, I mean, it's just mind-boggling. Like, and if you think that this isn't an issue in this county, even though
I'm sorry, your time is up. Thank you for your comment. Administrator, the meeting administrator has informed me, Director Fantasia, that there's a caller, Millie Klein from Franklin, who's been trying to get in. I don't know if you can see her on the line.
I'm looking for her now. Yes, I know that. I do see her. And she can unmute if you would like your 3 minutes to speak, Millie Klein.
Thank you very much, Dawn. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, commissioners. This is actually my first meeting, and a couple things I would just quickly like to say. I mean, I am very appalled by, I think it was one of the caller's statements that has been obviously reiterated by other callers after he spoke. I mean, it's just uncalled for. The statements that he made, it's not appropriate. I mean, I also would like to second that we have a right to speak at these. We are your constituents, and if we want to speak at a public hearing, we are allowed to. Separately, I would implore people to look at the federal hate crime bills, at the Supreme Court litany of cases that clearly define hate speech versus freedom of speech and define hate crimes. This isn't a new concept. This has been around in our country and defined in our country and prosecuted under the law in our country for a very long time. Separately, I would like to say that, when you speak, and it made me extremely happy as somebody who practices in the field of child neglect and abuse to bring up this month of awareness of child abuse. But I would also like to point out, and I would implore everybody to also look into how children are disproportionately affected, poverty, people of color. That is statistically in this country, and I would imagine if you look at Sussex County statistics, and I'll have to look further into that those are the people that are greatly impacted by sexual assault, by child abuse, by child neglect. So I just would like to state that I'm really thankful for the time, and I also would second Ms. Mullins' comment about having a commission, because coming to the table and all of us being able to meet each other and talk and be respectful of each other and all of our different backgrounds. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our callers this evening.
Thank you. I'm just going to ask a general question of the board. I made a few notes to answer just a couple of questions that the public had posed that I can answer at this point. Does anyone from the board wish to say anything, or would you just like me to address? Okay, hearing nobody on the board that wishes to respond. A couple notes first. One of them, someone had asked to define hate. Obviously, the word hate is inherently subjective, even as the laws were being developed for hate crimes, hate speech. Scholars from every possible arena were brought to the table to have discussions about what defines it, and universally understood that hate can be a subjective term, and definitely is predicated upon the listener and what their experiences have been in their lives, as to what they may find offensive or threatening, whereas some things are just inherently hateful and universally accepted. But that's why there has been so many conversations for so many years over being able to define hate. So, I certainly don't have that answer, the cut and dried, answer with no gray area whatsoever, which also points to one of the speakers that had said, when you can't define it, you look for it, or, how do you definitively nail it down? So long story short, I don't have that answer as to how the word hate was defined. by federal agencies, state agencies, or lawmakers who have passed these laws. But I know that those conversations were not taken lightly, and there's a struggle, and there continues to be a struggle over defining as different crimes and behaviors do emerge. I also wanted to address, one of the callers had stated that, that there are people running for office and they come and speak. And the caller bent to that. People running for office are also constituents. We've had individuals who are actually running for the seat I'm sitting in right now come and regularly speak at these meetings. So they're constituents, they're entitled to speak regardless of where they land on any ballot. So by no means does somebody who's running for office is not free to come speak at a public meeting in a county where they reside. So I strongly disagree with that. Now, as far as the incidents of bias, again, to clarify for that caller, the numbers have changed. The 2019 report, there were some issued where there were 14 in Sussex County, some said 16. And then in 2020, some said 30, some said 32. There is no 2021 data that is released for 2021, in totality up to this point. So those were the numbers. Again, statewide in 2019, there was 994. And in 2020, there was 1,441 incidents in the state of New Jersey that are reported. And again, issued that the increase, again, they're attributing partially an increase across the state due to, I guess, more stringent reporting requirements as the year has moved forward. Let me just see here. As far as addressing comments to the board, again, if you're talking at the board about an issue, we have individuals who just talk and complain, let's say, about Democrats. I mean, somebody that complained about people who were running for office and how they, shouldn't be able to speak. And then you had individuals who came and, the one caller that had called and asked to, talked about the, I don't know if it was a publication or whatnot. And I said, well, no, the comments really do have to be directed at the board. You can voice your concerns about things that you think are impacting the county to the board. It's don't talk to another individual or another group. All your comments have to be directed to the board. Now, at our last special meeting, there was a conversation again about individuals using the term China virus, Wuhan virus. After the meeting, I did have a very brief discussion with legal counsel, and I said, what happens under these circumstances when somebody uses that term? We all know, again, universally, there is inflammatory language involving, for instance, the N-word, which is horrific, universally unaccepted. There's this, which now seems in certain groups to have a very negative connotation. Then you have the CDC, which is referring to variants of COVID-19 as the Brazilian variant, the South African variant, and the UK variant. So for me, I don't know whether that falls under it as well, if we're attributing the illness variants to specific regions and individuals from there. So again, in speaking to legal counsel, that's something that, I'll be honest with you, falls under a gray area of cutting off a speaker who speaks using that term based upon origination of that. And I'm not being cute. I'm saying it as it is, as a fact, because those are the regions now that are attributed to variants of COVID-19. So that is a flat gray area, and I understand the concerns that were voiced at our prior meeting. One thing that I have to say that to clarify, to correct the former Democrat chairwoman, Ms. Rotundi, when she offered reading for the third time to educate the board on open public meetings. This board did not receive an agenda from Congressman Donheimer. We did not receive a list of participants at that meeting, and we were also denied legal counsel at that meeting for what we believed could be a confidential security briefing. And also to clarify, no, we are not subordinates of the congressman. Just to make that clear, we are constituents of the congressman, not subordinates, as stated.
I didn't say that,
But
Dawn.
no,
I
no,
didn't
no,
say
this
that,
is not a
Dawn. No, you addressed
conversation.
me.
No, it is not a conversation, Ms. Rotundi.
I know you kicked
So
me out
I'm
like
going
you
to
did before.
continue my thoughts.
Why don't you kick
And
me
you
out,
are
Dawn,
going
then?
to remain a
You've
member
just
of
been
the
lying.
public
You're
and
lying.
not be speaking. Thank you.
No, that's disruptive.
Thank you. Enjoy your evening. So again, clearly recorded. So we would certainly be able to reference that. But again, not knowing if this board would be taking any kind of action based upon what was presented to us by the entities that were present at that meeting. All 5 of us confirmed attending the meeting until, again, we did not receive a list of participants, didn't receive an agenda, were not allowed to bring legal counsel. So we erred on the side of caution because the meeting was not made open to the public. And we decided that 2 commissioners to avoid a quorum was how we would proceed. And we gathered the information from the
Dawn, that
individuals, and we
implies
were thankful
anytime
for it.
you're all
I
together,
don't
you would.
understand what is happening here. Goodbye again. That was Miss Heath. So Miss Rotundi and Miss Heath now removed. So again, not interrupted for your 3 minutes. I will not be interrupted for mine. So case in point, these meetings are for conducting county business. And if you come to me with an authentic question, I'm going to give you an authentic answer. But this is not a political or election playground that we're doing here. This is not a sandbox. If you participated in this meeting, this was not about, look at one of the callers said, look at what a good job we're doing. No, that's not what this is. This meeting was, look at what a good job the 500 plus county employees are doing. Look at what a good job the citizens of Sussex County are doing. Look at what a good job our volunteers are doing. And we are blessed to have every single group with us. And that concludes my comments. So I need a motion to close the floor for public comment and return to regular business.
Still moved.
And a second.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Reminders, please check the county website again for all of the programs that we discussed in our reports this evening. It's a wealth of information. A lot of agencies, including Atlantic Health, has referred to our county website as the one-stop shop for many services that are offered in the county. There's also information that links us for businesses, for the Chamber of Commerce. So please visit our county website and you will be able to access all of the services and information that we discussed here this evening. Number 23, executive session. The resolution providing for an executive closed session not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of NJSA 10:4-12. Terry, I'm going to refer to you.
Thank you. Whereas the subject matters about to be discussed may be excluded from the public portion of the meeting by resolution of the Board of County Commissioners as an exception to the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12C, and whereas it appears necessary for the Board of County Commissioners to discuss such matters in executive session, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Sussex, in accordance with the provisions of NJSA 10:4-12B and NJSA 10:4-13, that the Board at this time enter into an executive session from which the public shall be excluded. And be it further resolved that the general nature of the subject to discuss relates to the following items authorized by NJSA 10:4-12B as designated. First item, number 7, matters relating to litigation, negotiation in the attorney-client privilege, negotiations, PBA 138 Prosecutors Unit, PBA 138 Sheriff's Unit. Litigation, Paul Leobi versus County of Sussex, Clem versus County of Sussex. Number 8, matters relating to the employment relationship, personnel, various labor matters. Be it further resolved that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Sussex County Board of County Commissioners, or provided by law that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. And be it further resolved that upon completion of the business which the board has entered into the executive session, just seeking clarification that the board will not reconvene in open session.
Correct.
Thank you. That the board shall not reconvene and resume its meeting open to the public, and therefore the board will adjourn the meeting from executive session.
Okay, at this point, I need a motion to enter into executive session
Still moved.
and a second.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, at this time, we will be exiting to go into executive session. Again, thank you to all of our callers. And I mean that, I mean all of our callers. Again, we do not have to share the same political ideology, but we're all members of the community. We're all grateful to the employees. We're all grateful for the services that are provided. And I appreciate you coming and participating in the meetings with us. And please have a safe night. Thank you.